the idea is that you can get to anyone or anything anywhere through only 6 people. You are only 6 connections away from everyone in the world. And this was the theory was tested by an American university professor, as everything is tested by American university professors, but it was back in the 1960s, and the idea was he had a box or a package, and the idea was to get this box or the package to anywhere on the planet, how many people did you have to give it to get it to anywhere? And it's not paying people, just looking for or finding people going somewhere. So he started off within his state, getting a box from one place to another place, and he discovered that he didn't need any more than 6 people to get it anywhere in his state. So then he did it in the country of the United States, like getting a box from one side of the country to another side of the country. And it didn't take any more than 6 people to get the box anywhere in the country. So then he did it in the world, and he discovered that you didn't need any more than 6 people to get a box from one place in the world to any other place in the world for free. Because he would ask someone if they knew someone who was traveling somewhere in that direction or who knew someone, and there was always somebody who knew somebody. The only difference was that normally we wouldn't ask these questions. Normally we would try to solve it ourselves, or we'd employ a company to transport something or do something for us. But if we explore our environment and the people in our environment and ask them something that maybe we wouldn't normally ask them, there's always someone who has an answer, because the answers come from people, and people are far more connected than we think they are. Now, to understand this, let's take an example of this. Let's say let's take the American president, right? I have a cousin who I can contact who works in the music industry. He works with the top musical performers and artists in the world. I can call him. He can call one of these top people. They can call somebody that they know somewhere, and they would have a connection to the president. So that's 5 people. I'm 5 people away from the president of the United States. If I really, yeah. The thing is, we don't ever go down that road. We don't ever explore that, because it's just not the way we're designed as people. We don't think like that. But when you realize you're only 6 people away from everybody. I mean, think about the Prime Minister of Slovakia, right? I'm sure you know somebody in local government who knows somebody in national government who has some kind of contact with the Prime Minister. So there you are, 3-4 people. You can get to anyone, anywhere on the planet through only 6 other people.
But you need to ask more than 6 people.
Yeah, you need to find someone who knows someone. But there's always someone who knows someone. Because the person next to you, usually, a special example here, but the person next to you usually has a different circle of people that they know. And so this 1 degree of separation opens up a whole new world. A whole group of people that you don't have any contact with. And it's very interesting from a business perspective, like business and networking. You have a problem, you need to find a solution to the problem. All solutions to problems come from people, because all problems come from people. And so exploring the people and who they know that can do something. We've all had the classic example of building a house or something like that, and you need somebody to build the walls or the roof or do the electrics. There's always somebody who knows somebody, right?
When you need to buy a house, it's not.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the information, not the purchase of the house.
Okay.
But to get the information, right? There's someone who knows.
Yes.
You don't have to buy the service. You just have to find someone who knows the information. Because once you get the information, you can make a decision. So we think that situations are far more complicated than they actually are. Let's take the example with I talked about, or we talked about me moving out of the office, and I asked about a container. Is there like a place where I can get it? And I asked you because I know that I don't have that information, but you have a different circle of friends, you have a different circle of contacts, and your husband probably has a different circle of contacts as well, and so they probably know somebody who knows somebody. So through people, that's the really the best way. And you can, and if you think about it, if you take your circle of people around about you, let's say the average person has, say, 5 or 10 people. Maybe people have more. Maybe people have 50. Okay, so let's take 5 or 10 people. And these 5 or 10 people know 5 or... just imagine how quickly the 5 or 10 people around you become 500 or 1,000 people once that information gets out. And that is the key to understanding Facebook. That's the key to understanding Facebook. That through those people that you know, the 100, 200, 500, 1,000 people, there will be someone who knows. Yeah, and you can get that information and you can get that feedback. So if I type in 6 degrees of 6 degrees of separation is the idea that all living things and everything else in the world is 6 or fewer steps away from each other, so that a chain of a friend statements can be made to connect any 2 people on a maximum of 6 steps. It was originally set out by Frigyes Karinthy in 1929 and popularized in an eponymous 1990 play. Well, yeah, and in 1929 we were beginning to see the world coming together and being more connected. The rail connections, the road connections. Planes, we were beginning to see people travel a lot more. And so he published a volume of short stories entitled Everything is Different. One of these pieces was titled Chains or Chain Links. The story investigated in abstract, conceptual and fictional terms many of the problems that would captivate future generations of mathematicians, sociologists and physicists within the field of network theory. Due to technological advances in communications and travel, friendship networks could grow larger and span greater distances. In particular, Karinthe believed that the modern world was shrinking, getting smaller, due to this ever-increasing connectedness of human beings. He suggested that despite great physical distances between the globe's individuals, the growing density of human networks made the actual social distance far smaller. Karinthy's characters believed that any 2 individuals could be connected through at most 5 acquaintances. In his story, the characters create a game out of this notion or idea. Yeah, if you look at the principle is actually smaller, because if you look at, there's the first person and the last person, right? And so the network in between them is actually only 5 people. So you can get from any one person to any other person in the world through only 5 people. Because there's always someone who knows someone. And the secret then is to always explore that option, to always explore that idea. Because there's this habit that we tend to think that when we have a problem, we need to find a solution to our problem. But it's usually our thinking which is part of the problem, and therefore we can't find a solution because the problem is us. The problem is our thinking. And so to find the solution, we have to go to somebody else who knows something different or has a different piece of information. It's the same thing. Or has a different experience or knows somebody else. And that simple little step of connection can make the difference between success and failure. Especially for businesses, and especially in terms of information. If you know someone who has experience or can at least point you in the right direction and say you need to talk to this group of people or that group of people.
Not everybody can ask right questions.
Oh, that's an art as well. Yes, there's another art, asking the right question. But if you consider the way that business develops and the randomness of objects, and what I mean by that is, take this room. This room is full of objects, all randomly created by different people in different places at different times for different reasons with different systems. And yet all of the objects end up here in this room for the simple reason that I collected them and put them there. Without me, none of these things would be here. And without you, I wouldn't be here, right? So it's quite wild when you know that you need something, and so you go out and you look for a business that can supply that or provide that, and you find that somebody else is there that has that, has created that. Like I wanted to order something on the internet last week, and I looked around Slovakia, and first of all, I went to local shops, couldn't find it. I looked around Slovakia on the internet, couldn't find it. So I looked around Europe on the internet, and I found a company in Britain. And so I ordered what I wanted from this company in Britain. And then this thought is, well, this company in Britain is started by someone that I don't know, for the specific reason that someone like me, who they don't know, would contact them and want the product that they have, which is only a product that they've imported from China or Taiwan or something, because this is technical, and which was then created in a factory somewhere, built by someone who had an idea at some point in time to do something, and this whole idea and this whole creation and everything finds its way in a strange connectedness to me. And if these people I didn't know hadn't done something that I didn't know about, I wouldn't be able to get this. I just find that crazy. It seems it seems so random. And then if everything is like that, it's like, oh my God, like the pen. I mean, how did this pen even, it's like made in Japan? Okay. So somebody started a company like 30 or 40 years ago, so that me sitting in the middle of Slovakia, I can hold this pen and write on the board so that other people can read it. That. And it's like, let's look for logic and order in the way the world works. Oh my God.
Each of men in the world, they are one part of this chain or network.
I think yes, and maybe success is about surrounding yourself with people who can provide you with some answers to some of the questions that
Even
you have.
When you don't say loud your question,
Hmm.
the answer will come.
Because you're
Because
looking,
you are thinking
yeah,
about it and you
yeah.
are focused on this thing.
Yeah, because something at some point in time is highlighted. Like, I mean, it's very unique. So, it's mathematical history. I'll just skip over that. Blah 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 blah. Milgram. Milgram. Stanley Milgram. Milgram did a number of experiments that were very important in psychological history. Just a quick look. Was an American social psychologist best known for his controversial experiment on obedience conducted in the 1960s during his professorship at Yale. Obedience to authority. Oh, that was the killing people.
What?
It was the electric shocks to kill people. You know the experiment that I'm talking about? That was Stanley Milgram, who did those. You know, he discovered that 4 out of 5 people would kill somebody if they were told to do it by an authority, just anybody on the street. If the authority said it was okay, they would do it. Yet there's questions and answers, and if the person got the answer wrong, you had to give them an electric shock. And the more wrong answers, the stronger the electric shock. And there's this level where, you know, a person could die. And if the authority figure said it's okay to go above the level, then people would go above the level and continue to give the electric shocks. It's right. The simulations carried out on the relatively limited computers of 1973 were nonetheless able to predict that a more realistic 3 degrees of separation existed across the US population. So that only through 3 people could you get to anybody anywhere. That's quite incredible. Foreshadowing the findings of American psychologist Stanley Milgram.